Today we started getting familiar with model. We learned a little bit about model validation, just one line of code that can make our life more convenient. You learn a few useful methods that you can create data in the console, right? You know how to display them, and you know how to use display them here. Display the objects. These are the records from the database. You load from database and display with the help of Bootstrap. The Bootstrap framework gives you a few nice components so you don't have to think about how to style things. There's some very little CSS that can help you go a long way, such as this. You set the width for a div, and then 10 pixel here means the top and the bottom. Auto here means left and right. So margin left auto, margin right auto. Then the div is in the center. So that's why it's in the center. It's very common also for image. You set sort of width to be 100%, max width. So if it's smaller, it could stay smaller. But if it's too big, it will never blow the container out. You see that seeding data is very useful. To be able to write some scripting code is useful. I believe, oh my, I accidentally undo my own code changes. So let me undo what I undid. So I fixed the seed code to be a little simpler here. I hope you understand this one. What it's saying is, if you're trying to seed data, but there's already some data in the database, we just say, hey, I'm not seeding. So in order for this to seed, just go into Rails console, run Rails console, and then you type photo.delete all, so all the data will be deleted by you. Then you run seed again, then there will be no more photos, so this block will not run, and then it will start seeding more data. You also see that the Faker gem is really powerful. I use, here is an example. You can get a few cool default, not default, but random data for your app. So as a result, some of us have already submitted online the Heroku URL. You can take a look there. And today you also see how powerful it is that you can check your code on Heroku. The Rails console thing is really powerful. You can open the Rails console even on Heroku itself, and you can create data manually over there, right? But the user is not going to use any of this. This is just you preparing the data. We need to create forms for our user. For an example, if the user needs to upload, there must be an upload button somewhere, right? Interestingly, I don't think Instagram even have that. Like, does it have it? You have to upload from your phone. So let's pretend you can write a comment, but I don't think you can upload from the web, because they sort of just don't think it makes sense. But let's pretend that this is the new Instagram experience. We have a link that say upload your photo here, okay? And I'm going to create a form that is at photo/new. All right? We haven't learned how to do this yet. So go to photo/new. Currently, this page does not exist. All right? Before I implement the form, I would like to introduce another type of routing, Rails route. This is called RESTful routes. Has anyone heard of the word RESTful routes before? Oh, thank you, TA. RESTful routes. So you have the 7 routes, and here is, let me find it. You only need to look at one of these pages, really. The Rails default. All right. This is one line of code that defines 7 routes for you. And I'm going to do the same thing. You guys can go in here and take a look. Right. There was so we cover again. It's easy. So you see it after a while, and then so you can always go back here, right? This CRUD web verb action here, and to take a look. So I'm gonna take that link, and I can just give you guys that somewhere here, and then you can make sure you read the RESTful route before starting the assignment, right? But I'm going to show you right now. We want to run photos/new, and that's one of the 7 photos new. It's one of the 7 routes that is supported. Okay, and I am going to do that in here. I define something called resources photos. Resources photo will take a look and think. It will say, okay, you are passing me a photos symbol. It must be plural. Okay, and this must be with an S. Don't use this version. Rails provide you that, but just don't. It's just very confusing. So everyone just avoid it. Now, it will understand that this single word photo symbol, it will give you something like a photo model, and it will give you a photos controller, and it will also understand it will go to app views photos. So this is the convention in Rails. So what do I have really? Resources photos will give me 7 routes. The first one is the index action. So it will go to /photos. So it will be quite simple. This will give me the index action. Photos controller, index action. The second route, it gives me out of 7. Here there's photos/new. And that will be, what action is it? This is how I create a new, just go to a new page, right? If I submit a form, it will send a post request to /photos, and this is my create action. Okay. If I want to visit and see one photo only, let's say 1 or 2 or 3, this is the ID. I will go to the shows action, right? If I want to edit an existing photo, then it will go to photos pound edit. If I want to update a photo, then it just posts, it's just a different, even though it's the same URL as this one, it's a get request, it's a patch request. Don't worry about the patch word yet. Imagine patch, delete, they're similar to post. Get is just, get doesn't change the data. Anything else implies that it's going to change the data. So this is your update action. And there's a final one. If you go to /photos, /1, 2, 3, or whatever ID it is, this will go to photos, destroy. Yes?
So this patch destroy the old record and replace it?
No, it will only change, let's say, 1 column inside that.
So how's that different than edit?
This edit here, just visiting it.
Okay.
Just like new, you're actually not changing anything. All right. So after I add the line resources photos, if I go to Rails info, you will see that these are the paths that I get. I just type them out for you. There are also the path, the URL helper. These two have the same names. Post and get have the same name. It's called photos path. This is new photo path. This is edit photo path, etc. So from the timeline here, I can add a button, right? I can add a button in here as say link to upload, like this is say new photo, and here you can use the new photo path. Class name is button primary. I'm just doing a little bit of a bootstrap way. So now I have a new photo, right? Now I click on this guy. I go to the page and I now need to implement. Okay? I have the photo model, but I don't have the controller, so I'm going to do that right now. Rails generate controller, photos controller, and what action? I don't want to type all of them because some of these pages I don't have the HTML version really. I just keep what I need. Okay, just new, alright? Alright. I have a photos controller. So here is the, not this guy, photos controller. I notice that it give me this route that I don't need. So I go in here and delete this guy. Don't want. And let's go to photos controller. Here is the code. I'm going to create a new instance called photo.new. And I just prepare this guy to be like that. And I need to implement the view file. Obviously, right now, the view file is already generated for us. So I go to the view file now, photos new. Here, I'm going to create a form. If you use the Sinatra way, this is how you're going to do it. Form actions. In here, you're going to get to photos path. Remember that? I just create that. Once again, here, you want to go to this page. That's why this is photos path, and then this is called method post. This is the HTML way. But you know Rails provide you the helper. So you don't write this way. So instead of that, it's the same thing. I am writing form for photo, do, and just that. This form for will look at the photo, it will understand what model it is, and it will understand based on the resources photo path here, where to go. So let me just give you an example. This is one form, and this is the second form. I save it and I run both of them. And now let's go look at the HTML that it has, right? Let's see if there's any difference. Here's in body, and here's the first form. Looks like what we expect. If you have a button here, it will post to /photos. Here's a second form. Inside this second form, there is also action /photos and a bunch more things. First, it will say, hey, it sent a hidden param. Let's just say Unicode. Second, there's an authenticity token. Now, this is important. Rails is doing the security handling for you so that it knows you are submitting a new photo from the browser rendered by Rails. So you cannot submit from a fake data somewhere else because Rails will check this thing. It's called the authenticity token. You don't have to worry about it at this stage. These two are just the two hidden, right? You don't have to worry about them. So both of these guys have zero params that we actually are sending. So normally, what do you send in here? I want to send, let's say, the URL, right? So in here, I send the URL. So name here, I will call it maybe URL. And then value is probably empty. Down here is a different way to do it. Here, Rails will provide you all the helper to create it. So this is called a text field. Text here is the type text up there. And then down here you say text field. What is the field name we want to create? Remember the schema? The schema of a photo. You need to upload the URL, right? And username. So username and URL, right? Now I can make it more specific like this. Username and placeholder URL, right? You can do the same thing up there. This will be placeholder username, etc. So I only do one for now. So I'm going to create this page. This is the first form, this is the second form. Okay? Here's the difference. If you submit the first form, it will submit and you will get the, what params do you get? You post the params URL, right? Right? If you hit submit, this Rails gonna receive this params URL in there. In this, however, look at the two hidden field that we just created. No, not hidden. Two text field created by f.text field here. The name is going to be in the params photo username. The second field is photo URL. All right. So can we guess what's going to happen if you submit this form? I'm going to add a button here. I'm going to create a button and I'm going to type submit. So let's say Justin Bieber, add some sort of URL here like this, right? And I hit create photo. I'm going to pull the browser here, the lock here for you guys to see. Hit create photo. And right now it say there's no create action. No problem. Let's go implement that. So send a post here and it just complain no create action. So let's go and implement def create. Okay. Now I'm going to just crash my program so I can see what's going on. Reload the browser, it resubmit the form, and then it crashed right here. You can see the params all submitted here. Okay? And it means I can test, here's my params. Aha, so what is params photos? Photo singular. And you know by now, you know it's the same. Okay, photo like that. It has a funny name. It's a parameter, but you can also see key value. You do see there's something called permitted false, so that's a little funky. So what if I get params photo and I get username here? That works. Huh? I get URL here. That works. So I should be able to say photo dot create username is photos params what photo username and then URL params photo URL. That's a lot to type. Why can't I just pass only params photo in there? So this is one way to do it, but no one does it because it's too long. What if I submit more than this username URL? I submit company name, I submit a lot more fields. So we need to be smarter than this. Okay? So I am going to take a look and say, okay, this is a hash, right? Params, key value. Params photo is a hash. So I should be able to say params photo. It contains both URL and username. So I can just do that. Not yet. I can do this. Don't you think? Yeah, this now makes sense to you guys, right? It looks quite beautiful, right? Uh-oh. There. Now, if I do this, there is a protection mechanism. It say that forbidden. User is a forbidden attribute. It means a user cannot just decide whatever to update. Think about this. If you on a page that you update your email address, if you will post to you updating your user information, so post to user for example, and inside it will send data in params user, right? It will update your email address. Imagine there's an admin attribute whether it's true or false. And you can also send admin is true, and it will to suddenly make you a normal user becoming an admin user. This part you may or may not get this reference. We can come back to this. So I know that for a fact that this makes a lot of sense. I have a hash here but it's not letting me save. So with Rails params is like a hash, but it's a protected hash. And you could turn it into a regular hash. Whoops. Wow, you can't even, that's crazy. It's just like super strict. It doesn't even let me do that. So the way we do it is called, we permit, we say require photo. So I require the first attribute here. And then I can say, I allow you to access my username. So after you type that, then this becomes permitted true. But basically, this is now one hash. This is whitelisting user submitted data. So if the user submit username and what else? URL, I want to permit two things. Then you get this. And this one, you can now turn it into, this is called like a photo hash. Yeah? And my photo hash now is very good. It can be used to save a new photo. Photo hash, everything works as normal. And I can say photo.create photo hash. And it will create, and I have a new photo. Right? Now, and when I reload, let's see if it works. Where's my photo? Maybe at the bottom? Justin Bieber here. This guy. Alright, so let's really make it work with our Rails code. This is the key, guys. I have to explicitly tell Rails to allow two attributes like this. For example, do you want the user to submit a hash with likes count in it? Suddenly you can just submit how many likes a photo can have. That doesn't make sense. You can only allow this likes thing if the user hit likes. Okay? So once again, go back to Instagram. If someone hit the heart here, it will increase the like. But you cannot just say go and edit a photo and just change the word like, the number of likes, an integer. Even though you store this integer in your database, in your table, photos table. Okay. Now we're going a little fast on this, but feel free to stop me and ask me this again. But I need to show that we need to use the syntax. Alright, so this is how you create. Photo is photo.create. Of course, you can call new and then you can call save. That's the same, huh? But I need now to pass in something called a photo hash. Now this photo hash has to be filtered, right? How do we do it? Params dot require photo. So that get into the first layer, and I say permit username URL. You will see this in every form. So this is very common that you will learn it by heart. Okay? And then that's pretty much it. And then after you create, where do you go? You can redirect back to root path. Yeah? So let's try this. Go to home page here, create a new photo. This is micro. I'm going to find another HTTP. Well, here not new photo, but let's say sports 2 and create. It go create, and then it redirects to the home page, and the photos. This photo is, you see this text WPPAA. This is the one I just created. All right. To make it easy for us to see, I'm going to display the newest one at the top. Photos controller here. Home controller. Instead of photo.all. Yeah. Yeah, you can you can just do that. It works. You can tell the database display the ones with updated at in the decreasing order. So when you do this, automatically it's understood it's .all as well. So I should be able to run this, and you see Michael is now at the top. Even better, I can even display the time, right? Index here. Let's display the time. This is the username. Maybe I can display the time next to it. Photo.created@. Obviously, it's now very ugly, but you can see the time. It's kind of nice to see it there. Put it in a span and float it to the right. Okay. All right. I'll just do this time ago in words. Not created at, updated at. All right, 2 minutes ago. Sounds good. 4 minutes ago. That's kind of nice, right? Okay, so back to my photo thing. I'm going to clean up because your form will read nicer. And here's how I clean up. Where's my photos controller? You will see this so often that I separate it out from the create action. So I define a method here. I will not call it hash. I'll call it very specific. I call it photo params. Okay? And imagine in Sinatra you have a params. Here I have a params. But then each time you create a form, you create this private method. It's not an action for you to display anything, but it's a method you can reuse. Params. Alright. Is the code still readable? It's a little cleaner. It's just calling this guy down here. Obviously, this is just a parenthesis. Alright. So I put the parenthesis, it may be easier to see. Some people don't like to create new and create. Okay, you can do both. Now, then what if I cannot create a photo in some cases? Let's add a validation. Add a validation to photo. Okay, photo username and present. Okay, that's good. So we have to check really. If photo.valid, okay, then you redirect to root path here. Else, I should still redirect too. Alright? That's not cool. I need to tell the user something. So let's think about it. It will go back. Okay, it always go back. But if the photo is not valid, I need to do something. I need to tell the browser to display something to the user. If you're on the terminal, if you're here looking at this guy, you can probably do puts like wrong, right? Invalid photo. The browser cannot see this though. How?
Alert.
Yeah. Alright, so you say alert. Okay, so we have an idea of an alert. So Rails provide you something called a flash. So I say in this case a flash error. Then you say error creating a photo. Okay. So I just display that. And then when you do this create photo right here, it will have an error. No new photos. It go back to the home page. There's something though. There's something. That is the flash error. I have to handle it. So I go to the application layout. I will handle this flash error. Do you see that I set it here? So it's really cool. It save it. And it will keep it until the next request. It return to the browser. It redirect, return to the browser. It remember the error. But it only remember once. If you reload the browser, then it's gone. So this flash store the error for one time. So I'm going to display this right here, but I need to display it in some cool way. So I have Bootstrap to give me some container like this. All right. This is my container in Bootstrap, and then you will see that. Let's see if I load this page. Okay, cool. So let's try one more time. I load the page for the first time. There is no error, nothing there. So this is an empty div. Are we good? If I create a photo and I press here, then it say error creating a photo. Okay? And then if I do it one more time, but this time it's good. Alright, let's make a URL so that, alright, then you also don't see the alert. This is nice. And then you see that this is the new one, right, that I just created. So when you finish though, don't you want to say it's success? Right? So then the controller can actually say if valid flash success equals photo posted, right? Right? If not, there's an error. Okay? So then you can try again one more time. Here is your new one, and then the URL is here. Run this. Oh, that's not good. I don't see photo posted.
Because we haven't had a success.
Thank you very much. I did not show this here. So I should actually show success. But I don't want to show it in an alert danger place. So I show it in another div called alert success. That's just, this is just bootstrap. Okay? So,
Something else?
yeah, you can do that. So now, when you load the page, you see these two things. But then if you successfully create, then this works. If you don't, then you see the other one. Pretty neat. So this way to display a flash will exist in every single Rails app that you have. And people have come up with a nice way to do it. Flash is very similar to a hash. So I say flash.each do key and value. What are some values of key? Error, success or error. Maybe you want something like a warning, a notice, no problem, right? And then down here, end. So if flash is empty, nothing's get run, nothing. But if flash has a key, I will print it. I will print that value here. This value is the same as flash success or flash error. Now, is your Ruby still good for this hash thing? It will be similar to up here, right? Yeah? But I need to put it in a div. So I need to put it in a div with alert.
Alert minus dash.
Alright, so then this one is tricky. In here, I need it to be something like if key is error, then I display alert danger. Are you guys still with me?
Yeah.
If key is success, then like that. Are you guys still with me? Let's see if this works. I now go to the home page here. I should remove the top two guys here and run. The first thing that you notice is that, okay, there's no more ugly thing when there's no notice. When I click new here, I have this div. When I click new here, and with an actual URL, then this works. Now you still don't want this. It looks too ugly. I want to convert some of this, right? This whole if thing is ugly. So this is something that you learn as a helper method. So I create a helper method. I call it, say, flasherize. And I take, it's a method, you name it. Take a key and I will return something. If you call flasherize on error, it will return alert danger. If you call flasherize on success, it will return alert success. Okay? So where do you define this method? Do you do it in here? Def flasherize key? No, right? This is a view, don't do that. So welcome to a new convention. It's in helper. And you can choose any of these helper to put your code. So here you probably want to put it in application helper because it's used everywhere. So I defined a method called flasherize. Here is a key. And there is instead of if key is what? Error, then you return alert, danger. Else if key is what? Success. This works, by the way. Alert, success. Else, return, alert, info maybe, or warning. It's an orange sign. This will work. Okay? And that is how you have a relatively clean flash notice. So let's see if it works or not, actually. Looks good. It's called flasherize. Now, if I make a typo, it will complain, yeah? Flasherize, you run it. Obviously, there's no flash yet. But if you run here and run it, it will say, hey, I don't know this method. That's flasherizes. But let's say if I actually define this, then it works. Okay? Now, there is a slightly nicer way of doing this. It's called the case statement. You haven't really used this one. They are Ruby case statement. You will see that you can do a lot of if statement more easily with this case statement, right? Actually, in the to-do app, we use it. So case, all right. So case key when error, like that, when success, like that, and else. So it's a little cleaner. Okay?
Will alert warning run even if it's empty?
No. Because if key is nothing, this will just not run. Each only go to the key and value, the key value thing that has something in it, right? Well, good point. It may happen actually. So let's say in your controller, this is your home controller, and if you just define something like flash hello equals nil, yeah, and then I run this, you actually see that alert. It's very rare. We never set something to be nil like that, and you do see it here. So if you really want to be sure, application helper, you could check, right? You could check only display this one if you really want to be sure value.present, if value has a string. But I think in general this is good enough. Okay? Do you know that sometimes people even define this whole thing as one helper? I will provide you the code for this next time so that it's one helper. Then you can just call this flash messages. Then you never have to write this code and it just show like that. And that's a helper we can write and copy to every single Rails application you have. Okay, in your homework and stuff, it can look like this. But for now, I keep this code like this because it's very clear it's trying to do. When you see a method you don't understand, go search for it, Command-Shift-F, and then you will find the definition over there, right? Not a problem. Okay? So what have we learned? We learned about the routes. We learned how to display errors, all right? And then we learned how to handle flash messages. Learn how to do redirect. Okay? I want to show you this object one more time. Tomorrow we'll learn a more complicated form. But I want to show you, let's say if I have photo.new, if I try to save, it will become save will return false. If I ask valid, it will be true or false?
False.
False. If I do a.errors, it will display the list of errors that I have. So that the one you use the most is error.fullMessages, and you get an array of errors. And then Rails, of course, you can join this. It's an array, right? You can join this as a string, like that. It's an array of string. You do this quite often. Rails provide you a 2-sentence method. So if you have 2 errors, you just, you have the word N.
So,
A, B, C, D, 2-sentence. And then you get this. Okay? So in your code, in Photos controller, some people like to do this. Error. And then you actually take this photo object, .errors, .fullMessages, .2-sentence. And now when you enter, check how powerful it is. Okay, so I create. That's good. By the way, let's remove the other this line. Check this out, right? Username cannot be blank and URL cannot be blank. Okay, so I have username. URL cannot be blank. I have URL. Username cannot be blank. So you can use the errors, and it's powerful. But this is the laziest way you can do it. The non-lazy way is to go back to this form and then highlight this inbox and the input as a red box. The other one is a red box. You learn that tomorrow. Today though, we know how to input. Here is the use of simple form to create a photo. Enough for you to do, where is that? Photo/new. Enough for you to do the form submission. Okay, form 4. It's very smart. If you really don't know where it submit, just go and look at the HTML, the action attribute. If you want it to go somewhere else, you can also tell it to go somewhere else here. But you don't need that. That's the default. If you want it to look even better, form control, use bootstrap styling. Then it will look slightly better. And then the format that Bootstrap like to use is form group. And then you put that inside. And then another form group, you put this inside. And then normally you probably wrap it in a form with a smaller width, like 400 pixel here. And then you have a form here like this, and a button. Obviously this button, you can name it anything you like. By the way, you can feel free to use this button yourself, right? But here you can name it like upload, and I can have a class called button primary. Of course, maybe you want it in red, you can do that too. Alright? And now if you want a label, no problem. F.label, label for the username. That's it. Label for URL. Let's try. Alright, if I click on username, it's smart enough to click into the text box for me. If I click on this guy, that is the magic that Rails does, generating HTML code that is smart. It has the label tag here with a for attribute. The for attribute point to the ID of the next element. That's why if you click on this element, it actually jumps in here. It's very useful for the checkbox as well. Okay, so you see this is more like an HTML form. It looks quite pretty. You can make it a horizontal form if you like. And you can look into the Bootstrap form element to read up how to turn it into a nicer form. Alright, so that is form, and I hope that is enough to just read and understand it. Do a quick exercise to recap what we do, and we will revisit tomorrow, so no worries.
tomorrow, are we continuing with pair programming?